We got some splaining to do for which team can clinch a spot this week and which one can't, along with the usual overload of geeky stats related to the NFC playoff race heading into week 15. The calculations used here come from the Playoff Computer app. Check it out for your fantasy or other sports leagues. For an entire year of geeky data, the premium level is about the price of one beer. Just by a fraction of a percentage, the Seahawks, after eventually taking care of the Falcons, have a slightly better mathematical chance to make the playoffs over the Rams, although the Rams have a much better chance of winning the division. For the Seahawks, in the division, they lost the first round of games to the Rams and 49ers, and they currently have the worst division record of the three. So if they were to end up tied with one or the other for either the division or the best in division tiebreaker for a wildcard spot, they might have some issues. Outside of their division, they don't have any head-to-head results that are likely to come into play. At 95% odds to make the playoffs, they should just need one more win to be relatively safe. However, the Seahawks cannot clinch a spot this week. No matter what happens in week 15, including anything involving a Seahawks win, there will be at least one possible scenario in which they don't win the division. Green Bay wins the North. The 49ers beat them in the best in division head-to-head tiebreak with both at 11 wins. And the Bears and Lions both get to 11 wins and win the conference tiebreak over the Seahawks. They face the Colts this week, which might be their best bet to get that 11th win. That should be okay, as they face the Rams, Panthers, and 49ers after that. The Rams are right there as well. Same 10-3 record after blowing out the Cardinals. As mentioned, better chance of taking the NFC West, as they already beat the Seahawks once and currently have a better division record. Could still lose a tiebreak to the 49ers, who are one game back. Unlike the Seahawks, who play an AFC opponent this week, the Rams take on an NFC team also in the playoff race in the Lions, and that means, unlike the Seahawks, the Rams clinch a playoff spot with a win over the Lions. Now you're wondering how the Rams can clinch a spot, not the Seahawks. And it comes down because the Rams would own the tiebreaker over one of those NFC North teams, in this case the Lions, that was in that worst case scenario for one of these teams in having three teams from the NFC North fighting for a spot at what would be 11 wins. The Lions, Bears, Packers, and even the 49ers all still have games against some or all of the others, so things would have to work out just right for everybody to be at 11 wins or better to deprive an NFC West team at a hypothetical 11 wins a spot. But because of the possible head-to-head victory over the Lions, it is only the Rams that can clinch a spot this week and not the Seahawks. Clear as mud, I'm sure. For the Green Bay Packers, it was business as usual, beating the Bears at home. That puts them on top of the NFC North and gives them a 93% chance to make the playoffs. While they have an impressive division record, swept the Lions already, and a nice conference record, it is probably going to all be meaningless, as without another tie happening or them somehow ending up tied with the Cowboys at the end of the year, they will either make it or not based on their record. It's looking at the moment like they will need 2 more wins to be safe. Tough match this week in Denver, then the rematch with the Bears, and if they still need some wins after that, they finish with the struggling Ravens and Vikings. The 49ers took the week off and dropped a few spots in this mathematical chart as many of the other playoff contenders won. At 9-4, they are around a 9-10 chance to make the playoffs. Do currently have the best division record in the NFC West. Have a chance to sweep Seattle in the finale. Have an awesome 8-2 conference record. And while they don't yet have any head-to-head results outside of the division that could come into play at the moment, those should be enough to beat most others in the case of a tiebreaker. And among the teams in the wildcard battle, they have the best chance of 10 wins being good enough. But like the rest, 11 wins is probably needed to be safe. Get the Titans at home this week for one of them. A game with the Bears in a few weeks could be a battle for a wildcard spot. So stay tuned. The Eagles continue to make things needlessly interesting in the NFC East, dropping their third straight, the latest to the Chargers. So their lead over the Cowboys remains a game and a half, still close to 9-10 chances to win the division. Really unlikely they could not win the division but still make it in as a wild card. They do get an elixir for what ails them. Raiders at home. Then 2 of their final 3 are with the Commanders. So in theory, they should be able to stay in front of Dallas. The loss to the Packers put the Bears back into second place in the NFC North, and they have become target number 1 for the Lions to try and catch. Still have a rematch with the Packers to try to avenge things and maybe retake the division. Have what could be some nail biters with the 49ers and Lions to finish the season. Probably need 2 more victories. Get the Browns at home this week. About as must win as it can get for a team that is 9-4. The Buccaneers took a cue from the Eagles in how to make an easily winnable division exciting and lost to the previous 2-10 Saints. That puts them tied with the Panthers, in which they still have to play both of their games to decide the NFC South. In the meantime, another team with what on paper looks like a get-right game, hosting the Falcons, but then that's what the Saints game was supposed to be. Almost impossible for a wildcard team to come from here, division or bust. So the list of playoff fighting teams they have played a head-to-head battle with isn't going to be a factor, them or the Panthers. The Lions beat the Cowboys way back on Thursday to improve to 8-5 and be at least now a coin flip to make the playoffs. Likely chasing the Bears for a wildcard spot. Already beat them once. Finished the season with a chance at a sweep. Tough game against the Rams this week, but a win would make their odds jump to close to 2 out of 3, depending on what the others do. A loss puts them around 1 out of 3. The Panthers were on bye and couldn't have possibly dreamed that the Bucs would lose to the Saints, so they are knee-deep in the division race. They get those plucky Saints this week to try to show the Bucs how it's done, but note they already lost to them earlier. As mentioned, this is probably going to come down to those 2 games left with the Buccaneers, so we'll have a better handle on this maybe after next week. The Cowboys continue to play dangerously, now at around 16% to make the playoffs, trying to catch the Eagles as their best bet, and they don't have the worst schedule in the world to rattle off 4 wins to finish things off. Vikings, Chargers might be a tough one, Commanders, and Giants. The Vikings are the one team in the NFC that is still technically alive, but has virtually no chance. Would need a miracle of all miracles for a 9-8 finish to be good, and that 9 wins is a must to get to have any chance. Any loss eliminates them, and they very well will be eliminated shortly anyway. I don't usually spend much time talking about the eliminated teams, but just wanted to spend a moment talking about why the Falcons, who are in the win-challenged NFC South, are eliminated even though they are only 3 back from the front runners with 4 to play. And that comes down to the fact that the Bucs and Panthers still have 2 games to play with each other. If either one of them sweeps that series, that team would have 9 wins, which the Falcons cannot achieve. If the Bucs and Panthers split, the best case would then be for Atlanta to finish in a 3-way tie at 8-9 with the other 2, and the Panthers would win the head-to-head tiebreaker between the 3 of them. Okay, back to ignoring the eliminated, which includes the Commanders, Saints, Cardinals, and Giants. That's it for now. Excuse me. Check out the Playoff Computer app for your fantasy or other league playoff race analysis needs, and enjoy your day.